Hello there, Leo. Welcome to your October forecast. I hope that this month is getting off to a really great start for everybody. A quick reminder that you can always use this for your sun sign, your rising, and also for your moon. Now, before I get started, I'd like to give just a little bit of gratitude for everybody that has been with me through this journey. We're approaching a milestone right now on the channel. I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers, and that is 100% due to all of the love and support that you guys have given to me, so thank you so much. As a way of giving back to you, I'm going to do a live feed once I hit 100,000. So I'm assuming that'll be sometime in the next month or two. More to come as I get close to that. And I'll try to do it the week of the actual hitting of that milestone. So anyway, thank you very much. If you would like to support the channel and just say thanks for content like this, there's a lot of ways you can do that. The easiest is just to join me on Patreon or to donate through my website. All I ask is $1 for all 12 videos, and you can do it one time or you can do it recurring. So I'll put some information at the bottom here, and it'll also be below the video. Let's go ahead now and get into the forecast. As you know, each month I like to separate it into 3 different parts. I start off with channeled information, which I get when I select a deck of cards and meditate. The second part is the forecast, and the third part is an expanded forecast where I look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let's start with that channeled info. When I was meditating on your sign, I wrote down the following information. This is really going to be important this month to make time for emotional healing. For many of you, this could come in the form of laughter, of tears, or of just wanting to talk it out. But the important thing is to somehow let things go. So I saw like a jar of lightning bugs or fireflies, whatever you want to call them, and I saw them escaping. And what I felt when that happened was a sense of freedom and liberation. Because when you have certain types of energies, they're not supposed to be bottled up like those fireflies. They need to be free. So for you, I want you to feel that sense of liberation when it comes to your emotions and allow them to be part of you, but also you don't need to hold on to them. So find a way to express, to exercise them, to let them out. And I think that's going to help you this month so that you can put the energy into other areas, okay? Let's go ahead now and give the cards a nice shuffle and see what's coming through for your sign this month. At this point, I like to remain quiet, and I'm just going to be focusing in on the energy of your sign. So let's see what needs to come through. In addition to what's in front of me, I also like to pull one more card, and this is called a catalyst. And the catalyst helps us see connections between everything in the Celtic cross. It can also illustrate or emphasize any opportunities or kind of highlight any warnings for the month as well. So let's see what your catalyst is this month. The card is titled The Cat of Three Tails, and the interesting thing is this is setting up what looks like is a lot of symbology and importance around the number 3 this month. So here's your catalyst. Your crowning card is the 3 of Cups, and your outcome card is the 3 of Swords. On top of all of this, kind of going on that theme of grouping, we have the Lovers right at the center. So if I were to just kind of draw one high-level note, since we're looking at that catalyst, it's to really be mindful of who you're bringing into group activities. So from like a school, work, and activities perspective, I actually think that there's benefit in larger numbers. And it seems like a lot of what could happen this month might be through an organic meeting. So sometimes that's the best way for things to happen when you're really not looking. You could be out with a friend and then run into someone that's going to be a really key player in this month, whether it's romantic or something productive. It doesn't really matter at this point. Just being open and knowing that you're probably going to be in a familiar setting or be with someone that you know when you meet this key individual. Let's go ahead now and take each card one by one, and I'll draw comparisons to that catalyst and also see what additional depth comes through as we're looking at it. So as I mentioned, your center card is the Lovers. And for me, this is really one of the most favorable cards that you could have in that central position. Why? Well, because it's a magnetic card. The way that you feel about yourself, whatever you're trying to sort of cultivate in your life. You have this magnetic energy this month, which is great. And as I said, you could be pulling from a lot of different situations, a lot of different directions. So just being present in the moment is going to be really key. But the way to sort of maximize this is through your communication, whether it's your nonverbal communication, how you hold yourself, how you look, what you're communicating with your face, with your eyes, or with what you're physically saying or writing to someone. It's really powerful this month, and you can rally forces behind you because of the work that you've done. And to that end, as I'm looking at your deep past, what I'm seeing is that you've put forward a lot of positive energy when it comes to forging good relationships and friendships, and also earning trust. The reversal of the Four of Wands is saying that it's your turn to lean on people, to ask for help, to kind of phone back and say, hey, I really need you for this. And more likely than not, they're going to say yes because you've been there for them before. As we look at what's necessary to make everything work, really what you're going to be experiencing right around that first week as well, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. There's going to be direct communication. You could be receiving it. There's also an encouragement for you to be direct with it as well. I mentioned at the center with this Knight of Swords that your words have power. Don't be afraid, when and if necessary, to maybe get directly to the point, especially if you have sort of a shorthand with people that you truly trust and know. You know, sometimes when you have friends, you don't have to put on kid gloves. You can just say, hey, I have to be real about this for a second. This is what's concerning me. Can I trust you? Or are you ready for this? Or can I count on you? And sometimes if you don't know someone, it takes a lot more of a build up, and you have to make sure that you've established trust. But what I'm seeing for many of you is key relationships are going to be essential to success this month. You've set up trust and a sort of shorthand. Don't be afraid to use that this month. Now for the larger part, which is the Three of Cups. You will probably have to take in new people or bring some of your close-knit groups into a different group. So I see mixing of different groups, and there may not always be a perfect blend when that happens, because we've got the Three of Swords here and also this Cat of Three Tails, and I think they're kind of the same. So when I'm looking at the two of these cards, what I would say is don't beat yourself up if you can't make everybody get along. What's important is that you stay in control of a situation. In fact, that's exactly what we see here with the Empress card. She's positioned in the near future and also sort of midway through the month. So this is really encouraging you to be that leader that you want to be, or perhaps that the situation is calling you to be, and not to be afraid of that. Because if you set the parameters for how you expect people to get along, or if you try to step in and just sort of be the mediator, I think that's what's going to be successful, or key to success, I should say, this month. The other thing with this is an encouragement for you to really stay on top of things, not just when we're looking at work or relationships. This also has to do with your money, especially when I'm looking at hopes and fears here. We have a very positive card, the Nine of Pentacles. So if you pair up the Empress and that card, as well as your ego card here, the Page of Discs, or the Page of Pentacles, what I see is a lot of responsibility and opportunity coming your way. So for those of you that are maybe in title a project manager, this is a great month for you. Some of you that are entrepreneurs, same thing. I see a lot of money and a lot of productivity kind of flowing through your sign this month. For the rest of you, there's a chance to start to get a little bit more involved in that part of your life. So maybe taking a little bit more of an initiative with money, or feeling like for once maybe that work and the money situation, it's something that you really can now forecast more than you normally could. Looking at your ego, again, we have the Page of Discs, or the Page of Pentacles. When I saw this the first time, it was the download that I got was to try not to be overwhelmed or to take on too much, especially when you look at this illustration. So while it's important for you maybe to be in a leadership position, part of being a good leader, or part of even trying to manage things, is to know precisely when you need some help or how to delegate. And so because I saw that team of people that sort of are around you and ready to support you, a lot of love and affection. In fact, directly at the center we see the Lovers. I feel like you can lean on at least one close person in your life, so don't be afraid to do that. Now, as we look at the environment, this is a month when risk-taking, travel, and sort of for you, it's like taking a leap of faith is encouraged. Now, I do want to say this. With the Fool card, there is always that sort of underlining warning that you want to make sure that you know what you're getting into, or that you know the risks associated with something before you take the leap. So calculated risks are good. Being completely unprepared and just winging it, not good, particularly with this in the environment. And it does look like for many of you the stakes are high because we have the Nine of Pentacles, which involves a lot of money, a lot of responsibility, a lot of accountability. So when that happens, you definitely want to vet everything out and make sure that you understand what's going on. I would say when it comes to delegation, make sure that you're not putting that on someone that doesn't have the experience. Much better to go with someone who's tried and true and been through it, and there might be a training opportunity for someone else later on. As we look at your outcome card, we have the Three of Swords. This particular Three of Swords is speaking of a stalemate or a standoff. It's not so much about disappointment, about anger, or about spilled words. This is really about you stepping in and helping people avoid an unnecessary either debate or, again, a stalemate. So this is where your management skills are going to come in, where your ability to smooth wrinkles over, to possibly lean on a friend or a group of friends to help with something, and to basically use that shorthand that you might have with someone to be direct, to cut to the point. And also, I think many of you are going to be able to find some sort of a way around a situation that involves saving some energy, saving some resources. So this looks like it has to do more with your money or your work sector. There's some sort of a negotiation or a stalemate that you're going to help overcome. And once you've done this, then there's this sense of ownership and feeling like you're in control and able to, again, sort of be in more of a position of power. But navigating these group dynamics, that's the big message this month, whether it's love, whether it's money, or whether it's just family. I do see a lot of big personalities, kind of taking it into the frame of family, especially for those of you that might not be working or going to school or might be retired. What this could really speak with is a lot of energy going to the mother this month, or to the sort of maternal energy in your life. And to that end, also focusing quite a bit on sustainability when it comes to that person and their independence, and also maybe you. And so one of the big areas that the two of you could be having a little bit of a disagreement about is money. So again, a very strong woman, a lot of money situations that are popping up. Hold your own on this. And if you need assistance, remember you've got people around you that can speak to speak on your behalf, I should say. One other thing is, if you're looking to change jobs this month, we have the Page of Discs here, and it's accompanied by the Fool. So this could mean a move to or from a job, or to another city, state, or country. So this is an exciting thing. And I also feel like there's a step up when it comes to your wages. So looks like it's a good move. Just make sure that you know what you're getting into, like what the environment looks like there. So on paper, I like what I see. I think that there could be some personal dynamics that you should check out a little bit more, talk to some people that are there to make sure that you are fully aware of any challenges that might exist there. Let's go ahead now and let's expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll begin with health, knowing that health is mind, body, and spirit. Let me pull the camera down and we'll give the cards a nice shuffle and see what comes through. All right, your message for health this month is to release guilt. The interesting thing that I notice when I look at this is, again, that sort of familial or maternal, for some of you, connection that could be coming from this. So if it's something that you were made to feel guilty of when you were a child or a sibling, this is your chance to let that go. The other part of this is just the sort of weight that guilt can have on not just your mental sort of self, but also working into your emotions and then into your body. It can manifest as pain, as moodiness, as a lot of different things within your physical self. So I want you to work this month on ways to release that. And when I'm looking back at the words that I wrote down during the channeled information, I said, make time for emotional healing, whether it's crying, laughter, or something in between. Don't bottle it up. Again, going back to the fireflies. So whatever it is, I don't want you to be sort of like the person in the back where they're feeling like they can't communicate, they can't come forward. For some of you, that could be the Three of Swords, and this could also be that feeling of not being able to talk to people around you. Remember, you've done a lot for others. This is your turn to lean on them. And rather than them not approving of you, they might actually see you as being strong. Because if you look at this, it's really about that central figure who's holding their own, speaking their truth, and talking it through their pain. Because there always is a note of pain with the Three of Swords, but this one is about either arbitration, which I talked about earlier, or strength, finding strength and understanding that, hey, I've been through this, but the fact that I'm talking about it doesn't make me weak. It makes me strong. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at your wealth card. Wealth is also something that includes more than one part of your life. It's not just money. It's how do you feel about yourself? What's your relationship with money itself as well? And then what opportunities are you calling in because of those two things? So let's give the cards a nice shuffle and see what your wealth message is this month. For wealth, we have third chakra. And with the third chakra, as you see, it has to do with relationships. And this is all about power dynamics when it comes to money and speaking up and managing things. And that's what this Empress card is about as well. And when you think about the Empress, it's usually about not just nurturing, but it can also be about giving birth right there in that third chakra as well. So if there's something that you've been holding in and you need to either share with other people or release, this is the month to do so. And doing that in and of itself is going to help your health as well. And it's also going to help your wealth because when we're looking at the card this month tied to your resources, it's the Nine of Pentacles, which is good. So this is a good time to launch things. And again, we don't want to do risky endeavors or risky investments, but if you've been creating something for several years and now you're ready to share it, that doesn't read to me as risky. It reads to me as overdue. So don't be afraid to do that. Let's go ahead now and take a look at your love card, knowing that love is not just about who you're dating, but it's also about how you feel with the most intimate relationships in your life. That can also include friends and family. So the message about love this month is, actually we're going to take it off the top here, passion and pleasure. It says, savor your life, which to me is saying take some time to enjoy. I agree with this because right at the center you have the Lovers, and it's not often that we see that card smack dab in the center, as well as Three of Cups, which is about celebration, and the Page of Discs, which is about opportunity, and sometimes having someone being interested in what you're doing as well. So have fun, make time for passion and pleasure in your life. I've said this in another sign this month, but fun is a necessary component to productivity. And it looks like you're gonna have a little bit of overlap between personal and professional circles this month. You're definitely gonna have to manage that when and if it happens, but it looks like this is going to net out as something very positive for you. Just remember to keep it on the level of this is fun. And I think that's also how you're gonna be able to keep people in a place where they're getting along a little bit more. Let's take a look now at your Destiny card. While I shuffle this, let me just remind you that Destiny is something that you have control over, at least in respect to this spread. We're looking at the overall trajectory of where you're headed. And again, with respect to that, you kind of can decide to stay on path or to shift your paths. So your card this month is Love and Peace, symbolized by Mother Mary. I'm going to read the text underneath it. It says, let go of the need to be right, choose peace. Mother, healing is possible at this time. And that's like the third time that I've gotten an indication of something with a maternal figure. So if you don't have a living mother, it could be your sister, it could be an aunt, it could be someone in your life that takes on that nurturing role. Even for some of you that have two dads, it could be the more maternal of the two dads, whatever. It's the one that you go to when you have something that you need to talk about and you just feel like they're gonna give you a hug. And if you never had that in your life, it's about healing that lack in your life as well. So I'm just gonna pull up those three mother cards. We have the Empress here, which to me is a very sort of controlling card. We have the guilt card here, which can be the guilt that we sometimes feel from mothers or maternal figures. And then we have this healing card here. And love and peace. The key with this is peace. It's not necessary for you to fight or prove yourself. Love yourself and give your maternal figure in your life a chance to see that you love them and love yourself. And if they can't be present, That's not your problem. All you have to do is sort of set that opportunity up and let them know that you're kind of that frequency of love. The rest will work itself out. All right, let's go ahead now and review everything we talked about and bring it into a nice, concise package so that you can walk away knowing what this month has for you. I mentioned the channeled information this month was to make time for emotional healing, whether it's crying, laughter, or something in between. Don't bottle it up. Then I talked about that image of the fireflies coming out of the jar. You're going to have to be the one that unscrews that lid so that you can be free. You can wait. Sometimes we always wait for the parental figures in our life to maybe come to their senses, but they don't always do that. So the older you get, the more you realize that you might actually be playing the role of mother or father to yourself and also to your parents at some point. So some of that's beginning now. As we look at your catalyst this month, 3's a crowd, and it looks like there are going to be some group endeavors this month that are going to test the bonds of friendship and love. When we're looking at those of you that might be in a new relationship with the lovers, there may be a point this month where you want to talk about exclusivity or non-exclusivity. We have the Knight of Swords on top of this and then the 3 of Cups at the top. To me, the 3 of Cups is not exclusive. So you're either entering an open relationship or it's brand new and you haven't decided yet that this is the one. So just be very clear in expectations. That'll be important. Whether it's, again, a new or an old relationship, you just want to make sure that you understand how new people are fitting into the equation. Again, I want to commend you on what looks like a good job in forging meaningful and lasting relationships. You're going to have to probably lean on them this month. Don't be afraid to be direct with them. Again, this is a month where both your leadership skills and possibly your relationship with your parents or your mom is going to be tested or put to the test. So don't be afraid to explore that. Really good month for productivity and money. In fact, for some of you, a new job that might require travel or moving. Overall, really good energy when it comes to money. Whenever I look at 9 of Pentacles, it's one of independence. It's a strong feminine card. And so for those of you that are women and you're trying to really get ahead and possibly even start your own business, this is a sustainability card. And again, it has a lot of nurturing energy and a lot of divine feminine energy in it. So that bodes well for you. When we look at the outcome card, the more I see this, the more I see that it's strength in overcoming pain and also the ability to moderate or step in and avoid a conflict. And this is because of your experience, and maybe you can relate to people too that have been through something difficult. So your empathy, your sensitivity, and your ability to overcome or communicate your own pain, that's actually going to be your strength this month. As we expand the forecast, it's really important to release guilt in your life, particularly guilt that comes from your family or from your childhood. Again, we see the mom in that particular card. When it comes to your wealth, this is a chance to give birth, to release, to share something with the world. Allow for whatever it is that you wish to be. Don't hold on to it any longer. When we're looking at your relationships this month in love, it's okay to be happy. Whether or not people approve of that doesn't matter. Also, you need to allow yourself to have time to have fun, to relax, to find a way to sort of celebrate all the silly and fun and passionate sides of life as well. Last and most important, choose the path of peace, particularly when it comes to mother's or maternal energy in your life. This is the time to let that go, to move on, to allow for something bigger. So that brings our monthly reading to a close. I hope that it gave you the insights that you need to really embrace the opportunities this month. And I do think it's a great month for your sign. A lot of powerful energy around the heart space with the 3 of Cups and the mother cards that we were seeing. And also a really productive month when it comes to money. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about anything that I've covered here, or perhaps something that is unique in your own life and deserves a little bit more time, you can click the first link, and that's a great way to check out my rates and availability. If you just like what you see here and you'd like to say thank you, a donation as little as $1 goes a long way in helping with supplies and setting up the time that's necessary to do these each month. So I have 2 ways. I put a link at the beginning. It's also the second link below the video. You can join me on Patreon or donate one time through my website. If that feels good, do it. If not, you can also just share the videos and like and subscribe. As I said earlier, that really is making a difference, and we're so close to a milestone, so thank you for that. Finally, if you would like to connect with me across other social media sites, I would love for you to do that. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a newsletter. That third link will allow you to connect to all of those. And I like to end everything with sort of an overarching thank you and also a purpose for why I show up each month. The thank you is a consistent thread and a very sincere one, which is I'm humbled by the fact that you show up from month to month, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be a part of your exploration metaphysically. This month, what I'm talking about is that we're basically working on being clearer, brighter. When I say brighter, I mean like energetically and as far as luminosity goes. But we're kind of like this crystal. We're trying to clarify who we are, what we're trying to do, so that when other people see us, they can be inspired by that brightness, by that clarity, and they can start to find it within. Each month, we look at a different facet of our life, and we sometimes see a similar reflection. Sometimes it's something new or unexpected. And just like this has a flaw at the bottom, nothing is perfect in life, but we're kind of aspiring to have that same clarity in our own life. So I hope that as we go through this each month, you're starting to feel that you're clearing things out, seeing all parts of yourself and integrating. That's my hope, that's my desire, and I think we're all getting there. So thank you so much for your love, your support, and for continuing to work on yourselves. I'll see you soon. Take care.